Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for checking the video out today. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover here today. So before we dive into these topics, do me a favor, if you end up enjoying the video or finding it informative, make sure you leave it a like. Helps the videos out a ton. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button, and while you're at it, consider hitting that join button and becoming a channel member to gain access to some exclusive perks. But diving into the first topic here, we have a few different things to discuss regarding The Last of Us Part 1 because more things are leaking. And the first thing we're talking about has to do with a new feature, that being an unlocked frame rate mode that will allow the game to target up to 120 frames per second. Coming from PlayStation Universe, it says, according to a leaked screenshot obtained by the folks at Naughty Dog Central, The Last of Us Part 1 is going to feature a new unlocked frame rate mode, which will allow the post-apocalyptic title to hit a performance of up to 120 FPS. And so, looking at the tweet from Naughty Dog Central, it says, exclusive, we've been sent a screenshot from a source who has access to The Last of Us Part 1. It appears the game is set to feature an all-new unlocked frame rate mode, allowing the game to hit frame rate targets of up to 120 FPS through an extra performance mode option. The article continues by saying Naughty Dog hasn't confirmed details of an unlocked frame rate mode yet, although the screenshot above does look pretty legitimate, and so hopefully we'll find out more information soon enough. And yeah, at this point, it's safe to say that this is legitimate. I don't know why anybody would make something like this up. We do know that there are people currently playing this game. So in general, I think people are happy to continue to see PlayStation Studios offer the 120 FPS option within their games when it's able to be achieved. And on top of that, we also have a leak regarding the trophies for The Last of Us Part 1. I think people are curious to know the difference between trying to earn a platinum in Part 1 for the PS5 versus, doing so in the PS4 remastered version. Coming from PlayStation Lifestyle, it says The Last of Us Part 1 trophies have leaked online, and it looks like Naughty Dog has dropped the requirement of achieving difficulty-based trophies for the coveted platinum. In the original game, players needed to complete the campaign on the highest difficulty to unlock the platinum. The Last of Us 2013 was a notoriously difficult trophy hunt with an average overall completion of 9% and an ultra-rare platinum completion of 4.9% achievement rate per PSN profiles. And so I wanted to just let you guys know about this because, it's true that for The Last of Us Remastered, it was a very difficult platinum because of that. And there's also not going to be any multiplayer-based trophies here. Many of us are not feeling great about the fact that The Last of Us Part 1 isn't going to ship with the original factions mode, which is unfortunate. But for those who, didn't want to be bothered earning those trophies, maybe you'll be happy to hear about that. But again, don't forget that The Last of Us Part 1 will offer a grounded and permadeath mode. So even though, these trophies are not going to be required for the platinum, they're still going to be there. But moving on to the next topic, we have an update on the Death Stranding PC Game Pass release. Some people were wondering if Sony had anything to do with this, and Sony did come out and they did clarify that they are actually not involved with this deal. So reading from PlayStation Lifestyle, it says Sony Interactive Entertainment has said that it had no involvement in striking the Death Stranding Game Pass PC deal. In a statement to the folks over at Push Square, the company said that matters relating to the PC release of Death Stranding are managed by Kojima Productions and 505 Games, and that SIE has no involvement in this promotion. Although 505 Games holds the PC publishing rights to Death Stranding, this is a curious case where Sony, not Kojima or 505, is the sole IP owner. For those who might not be aware, Sony funded and owned Death Stranding, and its trademark appears on the game's Game Pass trailer as well. Although this won't be the first time that a Sony game lands on Game Pass, this is a rare deal where an IP owner and development funds provider has allowed one version of the game to go to a different party, who is then further allowed to publish the game on a rival subscription service, albeit on PC only. And that's the thing that's worth noting here. It's not Xbox Game Pass for the Xbox console, it's specifically for PC, so clearly there are limitations here. But I thought this was just worth mentioning because there was a lot of confusion as to how something like this is able to happen, and I think people were just really wondering, did Sony sign off on this? And I believe it or not, I have seen some people speculating that this means we're going to see more PlayStation Studio titles or more PlayStation-owned IP making its way to Game Pass. I do not think that's the case. I think this might be one of the last times we see something like this happen. But you never say never. Who knows what's going to happen? But if I had to guess, this is just kind of a one-off thing similar to MLB. I don't think you're going to see games like Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon, etc., ever making their way to Game Pass necessarily. So just wanted to update you on that. Next up, we're talking about God of War Ragnarok because people are still getting nervous that there is going to be another delay. I can't say I necessarily blame fans for thinking this because of how quiet Sony has been with God of War Ragnarok. They have been playing it, very quiet here, and we haven't seen too much, but Cory Barlog is making it clear that it's not going to be delayed. It's going to launch on November 9th, and just reassuring fans, again from PS Lifestyle, Santa Monica Studios, Cory Barlog was stuck reassuring fans yet again over the weekend that there will not be another God of War Ragnarok delay. The conversation was sparked by a random tweet in which Barlog asked fans to be cool, prompting his followers to jump to the conclusion that the announcement of another delay was incoming. In a separate exchange with a follower, Cory Barlog seemingly dismissed suggestions that a new God of War Ragnarok trailer was about to be released. God of War Ragnarok's marketing has been an odd one for a Sony first-party game. We've barely seen any gameplay, and without much fanfare, Sony announced the game's release date, special editions, and pre-order information via a PlayStation blog entry. Considering Sony has held stated play events for third-party games and the fact that God of War Ragnarok is only 3 months away from release, fans are left wondering what's happening behind the scenes. And so, again, it's kind of understandable that, fans are going to assume the worst because of how quiet Santa Monica Studio has been with this title, but I do think it's worth pointing out that this tweet that Cory Barlog put out, asking people to be cool, has nothing to do with an incoming delay, and I'm pretty sure all he's trying to do is to, just let people know, look, we know that we haven't been showing much, and Sony's playing this very close to the chest, but there's no delay. It's okay. I think all Cory Barlog is really trying to convey here is just the fact that, yeah, things are quiet. You're not hearing much, but that's okay. Everybody just needs to chill out, be calm, be cool. Everything is proceeding as it should. And I would still assume that we're going to get a state of play dedicated to God of War Ragnarok. If we don't, that would certainly be a strange exception. Sony has held a dedicated state of play for every single one of their major releases and even some smaller releases and third-party games as well. Not doing one for God of War Ragnarok, there would have to be a very specific reason for that. So I'm still anticipating it, but I just think right now, they're still getting the game where it needs to be, and I'm at the very least just glad that we can walk away from this saying it's not being delayed, no worries there. But moving on to the final topic, this is a potentially very exciting one, although I will encourage everybody to take this with a grain of salt. I know that people are getting a little bit tired, or maybe very tired, of hearing about PlayStation Showcase rumors, but I feel like this one is kind of necessary and worth sharing because it does give us an exact date. Now, whether or not you believe the individual who is claiming this, that's up to you, but the date does seem to line up perfectly with something we talked about previously. So according to Special Nick, or Nick Baker over on Twitter, September 8th is the date that Sony currently has pegged for the PlayStation Showcase, and he shared an exchange because somebody asked him whether or not this was true. A few other people across the internet were saying September 8th, and somebody asked him, and he says, I don't know if it's 100% true, but that's the date I just got told. And he shares a DM that he had with, you would assume, whoever his contact is. They say, hey, I'm not sure if this is any use to you, but apparently the PlayStation Showcase is September 8th. So he says, so there won't be an August show at all. And the person responds by saying, I had 3 different people tell me September 8th within about 20 minutes of each other. I know dates get changed very last second too, though, but it sounds like they want to go before Disney. And to me, this is the thing that tells us, yeah, I think this is an accurate date. I think this is something that we can put at least a little bit of stock into, not entirely, but because we've recently talked about the idea of Disney doing their D23 Marvel Game Showcase and how, they're really kind of hyping it up and they're celebrating Spider-Man. We're assuming that Spider-Man 2 is going to be shown off to some extent there, maybe even Wolverine. And a lot of people were like, well, yeah, it would make sense where, they're having this event and who's hosting it, but, would Sony be okay with that? Surely Sony would want to show these games on their own terms, but we do have to understand that, this is a partnership. Sony doesn't own the Spider-Man IP. They don't own the Wolverine IP. You imagine that Disney and Marvel, they want to be able to show this stuff off too for their own events. So the idea that Sony would be like, you know what, let's do our showcase the day before and we'll be the first ones to show it off. I could see that happening. Like, to me, that actually sounds extremely believable. And we've been saying for a long time now that it seems at this point the annual showcase for PlayStation will no longer be in June, but be in September. So yeah, I just wanted to update you guys on this. Again, I know it's like, oh, we're always talking about the rumors and whatnot, but it's very rare that we actually get a specific date. And so it falls on a Thursday. That also lines up with, a weekday in which Sony likes to do their events or their shows. So let me know what you think about that. That does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. Subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.